Well, hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry. Today I am going to make another soup for Souptember. And I have to say thank you first off to Leanne over at the Mennonite Farmhouse for inviting me. I am super excited. My first soup was absolutely delicious. And this one is too, and I want to share it because a couple of my girlfriends said, I've never heard of such thing. And it is pumpkin season. So the pumpkins are out and well, I'm going to make pumpkin cheese soup, as you saw in the title. So these are pie pumpkins, but you could use a big jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. It doesn't matter. They eat the same. To be really honest with you, if you roast them, you would never know the difference. But I think these maybe have a little more sugar. I'm not sure. But I've got two of these. I'm going to roast those down with a whole bulb of garlic. Yes, a whole bulb, because roasted garlic gets very sweet when it does this. And I will have in the soup, I will saute before we start, I will saute 2 shallots. And maybe I'll reserve a couple cloves to do for fresh. So it's not just roasted garlic flavor, it'll have some fresh garlic flavor too. I've got chicken stock, salt and pepper, cream cheese, and some sherry. And I'm also going to be adding in some cheddar cheese. So, and I'll top it off with a garnish of fresh parsley and some roasted papitas, pumpkin seeds. So that is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And we're going to have that tonight with just some nice crusty bread. And yeah, it's fall, y'all. All right, come on in, let's do it. Hey guys, so this is not the most fun job to get a pumpkin to cut. I was on my second knife. Anyways, it's a hard winter squash, so you really are, you're dealing with a hard product. So you gotta be careful, make sure your knife is sharp. And now we can get in here and get the guts out. So you can do this with a spoon, but I have found a canning jar lid for this. And of course it's 4 jars. But any canning jar lid that you have, take it and just start scraping that stringy, fibrous part out. It does a beautiful job, and it doesn't hurt the jar lid at all. It really doesn't, especially 4 jars. They're probably the toughest lids on the market. I mean, unless you really manhandled it and bent it, but I don't. So, see how nice that gets? Because this is always the struggle, getting this cleaned out. And you can wait till you cook it if you prefer, and I'll probably do a little bit of cleanup when it comes out of the oven. But honestly and truly, this is how easy this is. Look at that, nice and clean. Okay, so I'm gonna do that for all of these, and I can clean up these seeds and roast some pumpkin seeds too. And I might go ahead and do that. That's not, while this is roasting, I'll have nothing to do but stare at those seeds and think, wow, I don't want to waste them. But I also could take them out or down the street to my neighbor's chickens. I might do that because they would love it. Okay, so I'm going to continue and get these all ready to go in to the oven. I've got my oven preheated on convection at 375. If you were doing it in a regular setting, it would be 375 to 400. It's just going to cook a little faster with the convection. Does that make sense? Okay. I hope it does. Okay, look at it. Look at. A little blabbing, a little scraping, and you're almost ready to go in the oven. And the main goal when you're cutting them is, it doesn't matter if it's a big one or this. And I'm going to tell you, even if you don't think you would like baked pumpkin, try it. One time I was roasting pumpkin to freeze pumpkin puree, because I cannot can it. I can can it in chunks, but I don't care for it. not like the frozen puree, which I will be doing. And if you guys want to see how I get that done, you know, let me know. It'll probably be on a combination video, but literally, look at this beauty. I was cooking off some big pumpkins, jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, and my son, he goes, "Oh, so now I get it why you don't let us carve the pumpkins." I'd let them draw on the pumpkins, but typically I just didn't do that. They rot faster, and it's a waste of food, in my opinion. So I said, "Yeah, you want to taste it?" And he goes, "It smells wonderful." So I got out the butter and salt and pepper, and we went to town. We ate a half of a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin that day, and it was so good. And he fell in love with pumpkin, and so I highly, look at all those seeds. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Now I'm getting hungry for pumpkin seeds. I do love roasted pumpkin seeds, but we'll see. Okay, I'll be back when I'm done with these last two. I think I'm ready to rock and roll, except this drawer didn't close. Okay, I am ready to roast these. I've got them all cleaned out. I got my shallots peeled. I took the top off my garlic, and all those tops, I peeled them, and they're gonna be my fresh garlic plus 1 clove. We love garlic. Garlic's really good for your immune system too. This time of year, we need all the help we can get. So I am going to put a generous amount of olive oil in each pumpkin half, and that's going to help with the flavor and the roasting and all of the things. Just take your, you know, your brush it really good, and just so you have a nice coating. And that's what the spices are going to stick to, because we're going to salt and pepper this bad boy. I love pumpkin so much. I'm not as much of the pumpkin latte kind of person, or the pumpkin, I like pumpkin things, but like I love the pumpkin crunch cake that I make and all that, but the savory aspect is definitely my jam. So, okay, now that we have that, and I have made an executive decision, I am not going to be, okay, my grinder, I just filled it. Come on, you can do it. A little salt and pepper down on each one, and yeah, I'm a savory pumpkin girl. But I like all winter squash. I love winter squash. I also make a pumpkin red curry pumpkin soup, and I've actually canned that. I'm sure that wasn't approved, but it's a soup. It's thin. So, okay, so then we're going to take our baking sheet, and you want a jelly roll pan. Whoops, a jelly roll. Oh, I didn't do the salt. Hold, please. Okay. Gotta do salt. I need a little bit of salty salt. Not a lot, just a little in each one. Because when the soup starts cooking, then we'll season again. We're going to season in layers. Okay. Boom. 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 And we are good. Oh, we're golden. Yay. Okay. If these had not have fit and laid down nice and flat, I would have had to get another pan, but they did. I've got all of it on there. Okay, so let's scoot this over so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to take my garlic, and again, we're gonna roast that. So that's gonna go over here in the corner. I don't need to season that, just the olive oil coming drizzled down in between. Okay, so that's in there. And now we're ready, and I can chop the other vegetables. Let me give my hands a good wash. And I wanted to tell you, when I brought the pumpkins home, I did wash them because I knew I was going to be using them, but we're also not going to be using any of the skin. So now I need to get a measuring cup of some water, because we're going to need to put some water down on the pan to steam it and roast it at the same time. So get some water down here, and I've got my foil is up a little higher, so you don't need a lot of water, you know, but I don't want, the pumpkin has so much sugar in it, it will stick to the pan, and I'll check it part way through. So as soon as I can stick a paring knife in, it goes whoop, and it's easy, no resistance, we're done. And I'll bring you back. So I am, my pumpkins and my garlic are done. The garlic may not be all the way done, but the pumpkins really only took about a half hour. So I put a little olive oil down in my pan here, and I am going to scoop up my shallots and garlic. And I put half the shallots in a baggie for another recipe. It was way too much for this, so I could have gotten away with just one shallot. I'll try to put a recipe down in the description. If I forget, please forgive me and remind me, and I will knock it out. Okay, so we're going to saute this first. I'm going to bring the pumpkins over here and show you. We're going to have to clean those, get the skin off of them and get all the meat out of there, and then we can add it to our pot. If I feel like I have too much roasted pumpkin for the amount of soup I want, then I will freeze that roasted pumpkin. I'll go ahead and puree it, and it will go in the freezer for pumpkin pie. And yes, I put salt and pepper and olive oil, but it's okay. Trust me when I tell you, it will work. Okay, let's get this sauteing and get the pumpkins out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab these pumpkins, and they cooked really quickly. They have got to cool down a little bit. So, ooh, look at that. It's already fallen out of the skin. That's wonderful. So I'm going to flip these over and try not to rip the foil as much as I can. They'll just cool much faster. These actually cook pretty quickly because they're so, you know, they're not very big. See, I could just eat that whole thing for dinner. I'm not even joking. Oh, it would be so good. All right. And now I'm just going to take a spoon and literally, we're going to hold on to the handle here. I won't have that on all of these, but the pumpkin just scoops right out. And yeah, I'm going to have a bite for sure. I haven't had fresh pumpkin like this in a year. So I eat seasonally a lot more than you think because, well, because that's what we're meant to be doing, is eating seasonally. We've been pretty spoiled having stuff available in the stores year-round, coming from different countries and all that. But really and truly, to me, it's more satisfying to eat seasonally, only because, well, needs more butter and salt and pepper. So good. So good. I am absolutely a fan. I can't say enough about pumpkin. Okay, so I'm going to get a bowl to put this in. That way I know how much I've got. And so I'll put it in my little retro bowl here. And yep. Ooh. See, these skins just come right off. So they'll go, the skins, even though I washed them, none of it's going in here, but the skins are going to go to the chickens down the street. And they're getting a bunch of goodies. They're getting some leftover cornbread muffins, some pumpkin guts and skins. I think that's pretty cool. If I was the chicken owner, I'd be so happy. Yes, free food for the girls, right? And the guys. They have a few roosters too. But anytime you can cut your food bill down, or your feed bill for your chickens, and turn it into eggs, it's always a good thing, right? I could put it in the compost, but I'd be afraid that pumpkins would start growing it out of the compost pile by next spring, and we'd have a pumpkin patch we weren't ready for. Oh yeah, this is going to be plenty. I'm going to have enough to put in the freezer too. So that's how easy that is. Look at that. That's so easy. Come on in. Let me show you up close. So here's an up close visual. Literally, it's just coming away from the skin. And you know when you poke a knife or a fork in there and it slides right in, it is done. So this one, literally, I'm just going to turn it inside out. There you go. Done deal. Okay, I'm making a mess. Remember if you had kids when they were little, I would, you'd give them some baby food, squash. They loved it because it's got that natural sweetness to it. And they really do. Kids really do like it. I just could never call it squash because that sounded terrible to my kids. So I just called it whatever I was having with it. So, and like when I did the summer squash, it was cheese and cracker casserole because it had cheese in it. So, this one I could easily, when the kids were little, I could have said this was cheese soup. And they would have been fine. But you say it had squash in it? What? Not my jam, Mom. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of puree here. So this would be, for a big pot of soup, it would be a great thing to have all this pumpkin in there. But I could have done with just one of them. But that's okay. I'm getting some of my pureeing done for the freezer because I will puree what I don't use and get it in vacuum seal bags with the WeVac, and in the freezer it will go. So none of this is going to go to waste. It's all going to go to good use. Okay. And you are dealing with really hot products, so be very, very, very careful. Oh, you don't want to burn yourself. But at this point, no one was harmed in the process. Not even a chicken. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. I don't know why, but look at that. That's just perfect. It is perfect. And this, if I was doing for pumpkin pie, I wouldn't have put the salt and pepper, maybe a little salt to contrast, but I would have left it pretty plain. And this, what I put in the freezer, will be used for pumpkin pie, but that little bit of pepper that's on there is not going to hurt. This makes the best pumpkin pie. I can't eat a pumpkin pie using canned pumpkin. After you have it fresh, I never liked pumpkin pie until I had it fresh with fresh pumpkin. And then I was like, oh my gosh, game over. So that's how we do it. Okay, I'm going to clean up my mess and get busy. I'll meet you at the stove. After sauteing down the garlic and the shallots, it turned into nothingness. So I'm going to saute the rest of the shallots. So I did need 2 shallots, so we'll put that in the recipe down below. 2 shallots, and they come in various sizes. So just know that you're going to need about 1/3 of a cup of chopped shallot and a couple cloves of fresh garlic. The other garlic, I left it in the oven. It's just the oven is turned off, but I left it in there because it needed a little more time. The pumpkin got done way faster than the garlic, so that's okay though. We're going to be real patient about it, and I'm all got myself wet from the sink. Clean it up. Gotta wash everything, no problem. Okay, so here's where we start layering spices. Let's get that sweating down a little bit. Oh yeah. And then we're gonna add our chicken stock. And this is the organic chicken stock I get at Costco. I do have chicken stock in the pantry, but I thought, well, I'll just use this. and save the other stuff, I guess. You know how you hoard your home canned stuff? I don't know why we do that, because that's why we do what we do. And this is a 3-quart saucepan. I really only want to end up with 1.5 to 2 quarts of soup, period. I don't want a ton of soup, because, well, we're not gonna consume it all. So we'll bring this up to a simmer, and whoopsie, and that was for my water. We'll bring it up to a simmer, and we'll be ready to go. It's gonna be so good. Okay, I think I need to get an apron. I bought an apron, but I haven't. It's too long, and I haven't had a chance to hem it. So, and you don't have to worry if your pumpkin is in cubes or a little bit harder than this, and you just peel the pumpkin. You can do that. You could not even roast it and just cube it, peel it. Okay, take the seeds out and all that, the stringy stuff, and cube it and cook it down. But trust me, the roasting, it changes the whole game. It's so much better. All right, so this takes forever with the electric stove. But I don't want it to go, I won't be rushing it. I'll be back when I put the pumpkin in, and I got to put my homemade buttermilk away. Yep. Oh yeah, she's buttermilk. I needed 2 quarts of buttermilk. I started that yesterday, and it is ready. So let's bring you back when I can add that pumpkin in, when this kind of comes up to a simmer. Okay, so I'm super excited. So this is, I can't touch that dish. It's very hot. I left that in the oven while it just cooled down, and you want to see sugars and stuff bubbling out of the inside of your garlic. That's when you know it's ready to squeeze out of there and be caramelized and soft. So I'm going to measure for you, because I want exact measurements, only because I know a lot of you, that's the way you cook. That's really not the way I cook, but I am going to do it. I'm going to give you at least as close of an estimation of how much pumpkin I'm going to be putting in here, because, saying a small pumpkin doesn't give you any exact measurements. And I'm making a mess already. And I can't just leave it lie. I'm sorry. It just is not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA. Okay, so there's 1 cup. And I'm going to eyeball this, but definitely going to have another cup or 2. Probably 3 cups is going to be the magic that will happen. There's 2 cups. And you're gonna, yep, it's gonna need some more. I don't want it that liquidy, or that, And then we do have the cooking sherry, which typically I use about 1/3 of a cup. And I don't use cooking wine very often. Usually I just use the real thing, wine. But the fortified wine does have a different flavor profile. It is so good in this. Almost, yeah. I'm going to go for 1 more scant cup. Okay. There we go. 1 was heaping. This one's, not. Okay, so we'll say 4 cups up. Pumpkin that you've roasted, not a problem. And then 1/3 of a cup of cooking sherry. And I'm going to turn my burner up a little bit. 1/3 of a cup of sherry. Yum. And we're going to start our seasoning layer again. So it is up to you how much pepper you put in it, but I love pepper. I'm going to be putting parsley in here. Oh, my grinder can't catch the peppercorns for whatever reason. Hopefully I don't need, oh, there we go. I don't need a new pepper grinder. I actually should get one of those electric ones. That would be very cool. Okay, we'll say a half a teaspoon of pepper, but that's to your taste, honestly. Okay, I want to see a little pepper floating around in there. How about that? And then some salt. We're gonna do, and this is kosher salt, so a couple pinches, and we'll taste it here because that broth has some sodium in it, and we did salt it. I don't want to over salt anything. This is going to simmer for about 20 minutes. It's actually pretty fast once the pumpkin is roasted, but there are still some fibers that need to break down a little bit more before I get in there and puree it. And we're going to be thickening this with cream cheese. Okay, so let's get this simmer down. And then right here is my garlic. Look at that. Oh, that's hot. And sticky. That's some serious roasted garlic. And you're just, I'll show you. I'll bring you back when I pinch it out, but it's way too hot for me to do. In fact, I might move that to a cooler spot. Like my spoon rest is nice and cool. This little pie plate is hot. So we'll let it cool right there, and we'll move this hot pie plate. Yeah, hot. And get that over in the sink and let it cool down. All right, I'll be back when it's time to add the rest of the story. Okay, so what you see here is about a half a teaspoon of maybe a quarter of a teaspoon actually, of poultry seasoning. And I did add a little more pepper because I'm sorry, I really like black pepper in this. So now my garlic is cooled down enough. You can squeeze that right out of there. And roasted garlic is very sweet, and it's just wonderful. Ha ha ha. You just get those garlic cloves, pinch them on out. Yeah. Don't let any of your skins go in there though, or you'll be fishing. We don't want to do that. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're getting skins here. Okay. I'm gonna grab that without the skin. Thank you. And yeah, the garlic's nice and sweet and sticky. And if you've never had roasted garlic, you have not been around the world yet. I'm just going to tell you, it's delicious. So, like I said earlier, I will be thickening this with my cream cheese and my cheddar. So, let me get my cheddar out, and we're going to get to working on it. And the cheddar is going to leave a little bit of, sorry, I had to rinse my hands off. The cheddar is going to leave a little bit more fat in there. I'm also going to put some of my fresh parsley out of the garden right now, because at the end of the soup, it's okay. And we're going to puree that in with the immersion blender and the cream cheese. And I will get my cheddar cheese that I grated up for you. I grated up about 3 cups, but I'm not going to need that much. I am going to measure this though, because I want to know how much I'm actually putting in there for you, so you don't have to guess, right? And I'm going to, again, I'll write the recipe in the description. And my husband is probably going to want more cheese than I put in here, because he's He loves him some cheese. Me too. Okay, here's a cup of grated cheese. We're gonna put that in there. Oh my gosh, what? Shut the front door. That is gonna be so good. It is a delicious soup. And I've done it without the cheddar before, but it really does add a lot to the soup. So now we're gonna cut this cream cheese block in half, and that's going in. And I will slice off the end of that real clean because I had my other spoon there. So we'll get that out of the way. And that's going to thicken this right up. It looks delicious just like that. But let's get the immersion blender in there and get her done up. Be careful because it's hot. You could put this in a blender, or if you had a Vitamix, which I should, but if you had a Vitamix, this would go like, it would even heat your soup up. Okay, and now I've got a creamy, delicious soup. Absolutely delicious. This goes in the sink and the washing. And I made a little bit of a mess, and now we can oh, look at that. Oh, somebody didn't get melted in. It's cream cheese. Is it cream cheese or is it pumpkin? Oh, it's a piece of pumpkin. I'm gonna get that out of there because the rest of it is pureed nice and beautiful, silky and smooth. This soup should be ready. Let me get a clean tasting spoon for you, and we're gonna just give it a little bit of a sip and see what we have and if we need to add anything. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Perfect. Oh my gosh. I love this soup so much. Okay, I can't wait for dinner now. I'm gonna dish up a portion, garnish it the way I'll garnish it tonight, and I'm gonna say soup's on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my pumpkin cheese soup for Souptember. Delicious. Okay guys, it is time. It's time. I'm super excited. So I'm gonna do a taste test for you, and I'm gonna show you how I would serve this up. And I would ladle some into my bowl, and oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. And I'll clean up the bowl because, well, I can't have that. So clean up your bowl. If you did a little dribble, because I'm gonna have to take a picture. No, I don't have to, but I'm going to. I want a little more cheddar cheese right here on top because that's gonna make you know who very, very happy. A little more fresh parsley. And when you add fresh herbs, it really should add them at the end like I did, because they'll release their flavor a little bit better. Some pumpkin seeds here, right on top of the cheese. You kind of want to hold it. You can add sour cream. I've done that in the past. I really want to just taste this soup the way it is. Look how beautiful that is. It's so pretty, and it's gonna be good. Okay, and I did want to let you know, I not only got 3 quarts of, 3 quarts of soup, but I got a nice package of pumpkin puree to go in the freezer. I just vacuum sealed it with the WeVac, and my link is down below. If you're not familiar with WeVac, it's a vacuum, a chamber vacuum sealer. By far, I mean, you can do liquids. This sealed like a champ. And there's no air in here. There's not going to be any freezer burn. When I need to do a pumpkin pie, pumpkin rolls, pumpkin bread, pumpkin anything, cookies, breads, cakes, candies. No, I don't know. Soup. I've already got it right here. So I plan to do probably 4 more of these for the freezer. I'll probably do 4 more, I'm thinking, or at least 3 more. I'd like to have 4 of these tucked away in the freezer because these are holiday pies and cakes and candies and not candies. I don't know why I keep saying candies, but that's cakes, pies, and desserts, cookies. I don't know. Okay. I guess I can get a picture after. Let's get a taste test right now. I think it's cool enough. It's very warm, but okay, we got some cheddar. Oh, yes. And some pumpkin seeds and some parsley. Come on, let's get it all in there. Oh, baby. It's very savory. So the chicken broth comes through because of the added poultry seasoning. And the cheese is just absolutely, it makes this soup so creamy. And the parsley, just a delight. A fresh pop of fresh herbs is always what the doctor ordered. You could even put rosemary and thyme in here. But, well, I think I'm going to have to finish this because look at that. Who doesn't want that? Pumpkin cheese soup. I'm going to have to doctor up a new bowl for a picture. Guys, I hope that this inspires you to join in and go watch all the young ladies that are on Souptember, and make sure that you leave a thoughtful comment because Leanne is going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the month, and she's going to be doing it live. So she'll randomly pick a comment out of a random video that she's picked, but she's also going to be, if you're on the live, I think there's going to be some other prizes. So $100 Amazon gift card. She put this together, and it's a lot of work to do a collaboration. So I absolutely want to thank you, Leanne, for inviting me. Thank you for inspiring me to step outside the box a couple times this month to present something for Souptember that maybe you hadn't thought of. And I hope everyone who has never heard of pumpkin cheese soup will give this a try because it is delicious. And why wouldn't you? Pumpkin is so cheap this time of year, and you can do this with canned pumpkin too, but I don't recommend it. I recommend fresh pumpkin all the way. All right, guys, I can't wait to see you next time. Oh, I can't wait for the next video, and we're gonna get some, you know what, everyone's a winner when you watch the collaboration because you get all these new recipe ideas to put into your arsenal for the upcoming cold winter months that are ahead of us. All right, guys. Bye. You guys, this soup is so good, and everyone in this collaboration has done such a fantastic job. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe, and I hope you go watch everyone's videos and comment.